Hey guys, what's up? Bring Me the Boa here, and well, this is a video I've been really really excited to make. So you might notice I'm wearing like more semi-formal attire. That's because I had a job interview like an hour ago, and all I'll say is it went well. One of my snakes is pooping. Interesting. But so you guys may have remembered me mentioning that in at least probably a couple of my videos that I was going to be getting a new Tricolor female to replace Momo for my breeding. Well, there's Jellybean. Um, well, I got that new female from Dave, my good friend Dave, about a week and a half ago, a week ago. It's very nice to get to see him again after almost about a year. Or no, it would have been like 2 days shy of a year or something like that. But it was very nice to see him again and getting to see the snake. So I'll show you guys what she looks like. I'm really excited to show you guys Mochi, as I've named her, because she's just such a small little precious snake. So I waited to show her off just so that she could get a couple meals in her in my care, so that way I can be like, yeah, nothing will happen in terms of feeding habits. Because Momo was substantially larger than this when I got her. But look at that little tail rattle. Let's see if we can get a good shot in of the tail rattle. Oh yeah, you can see it. Let's see if I can get a better one. That's my finger. And focus. Oh, it can't focus. Huh. Thought it'd have an easy time since it's bright color. Ah, there we go. Where's the little tail rattle? It's so cute. Yeah, oh, if I go there you can't see it. There it really gets going, you can barely see it. Okay, one of the other snakes just moved really. Just moved a lot. They moved a lot of their substrate. Oh. Well, that wasn't a zoom in that anyone needed. Anyway, I gotta reposition the camera. Gotta get this up higher. And more focused with the snake in frame. But just to show you guys how small she is. Come here, little rattler. And she's in shed, by the way, so that's why her colors might look a little bit faded. And her black doesn't look very dark. But yeah, here she is. She's such a small little bean. She's still rattling her tail. It's so cute. She's eaten twice for me now, which is very good. But she's just so small. She's really cute. She's really gentle. But she has some of that reduced black tipping on the red scales, and it's almost non-existent on the white scale. So I'm hoping that in about a year from now, which is when she'd be reproductively viable at 14 months, that is when I am hoping to see if I can start trying to produce some that lack that black tipping at the end of the red scales, because Todoroki's has changed a bit. He's gotten a little bit darker, but his red is still bright. It's just it looks darker due to the fact that his black tipping is starting to become more prominent. But his whites haven't faded at all. So I'm hoping that I can start breeding for some high whites between the two of them, and then also some just reduced black on the red to try to make some really nice looking high contrast snakes with the red and white really contrasting well with the black. And I'm hoping that I might get some aberrant patterning out of this too. But she also, it's funny, she has some white tipping on some of her black scales. Let's see if I can show you guys that. You're okay, little Mochi. Let's see. Is in really showing off that well? You can really see it on this saddle. Of course, my finger's blocking now. Right there. And she also has some white on her belly as well, which is cool, because Toto has a bunch of white going into the belly, but never actually touches it. She has some white markings on the belly, so I'm hoping that I can line breed for some additions like that too. I'm trying to line breed for some weird stuff just because there isn't a whole lot out there. Well, not saying that there aren't some good looking animals for tricolors, but there's only a handful of projects I really want to work on with these guys because there's not very many out there. In terms of morphs, there's I think they're hypoerythristic, so they're like a peach color, I think, and then there's supposedly pastels, and then there's what are the orange ones called? Because for a while I thought those were hypoerythristic, but those might be, there's something else, I think. I'll have to get back to you guys on that one, but I think there's only like a total like 5 morphs for these guys. There's the wild type, hypermelanistic, or melanistic, depending on what you want to call it. And then there's the exanthic, and then the orange ones, and then the pastels, and the hypoerythristic, hypoes. So I guess there'd technically be 6 that I know of. Oh, and then jag. So there's like 7 or 8. I can't believe I forgot about the jag. Jaguar, or the jag or aberrant, depending on who you're talking to, because I've heard some people call both of those the same thing. But Little Mochi is just a reduced black tipping, which is more than likely just a line bred trait, which will compare with Todoroki. Oh, and then by the way, she has this sterilite bin just because I'm waiting for her to grow a little bit more before I fully upgrade it, and this will become her humid hide. I'll just cut a hole here on the side that'll act as the entrance and exit, and she'll have the exact same setup as Todoroki does. And so with that, I will zoom out, if it will zoom out anymore. Adjust the camera a little bit. There we go. I think, oh, I can just move it back like that. That'll work. So this is Todoroki's bin. I redid all of his substrate since he started really heavily mixing what was in his humid hide, along with what is just his regular substrate. This is a decent way to keep them, by the way, for the tricolors. Water bowl, aspen, humid hide, with the rest of the cage essentially being their dry hide. Oh, he's not in his humid hide. So he's somewhere underneath all the substrate. Fun fact, I usually take the water bowls out right before I film, just so I don't spill them all over, because then it gets the aspen all gross. There he is. By the way, he is much bigger than he used to be. Because, fun fact, when I bought him, he was about that size. Look at this glorious boy now. He is a little skinny, just because he stopped eating for me a couple times in a row. And since I'm on I almost said a bi-weekly, but that's not correct because I feed twice a week, not once every 2 weeks. But but I feed. Or is that bi-weekly? Anyway, I feed twice a week, and so he went off for like a week and a half or so. So he missed a couple of meals. So he's looking a little skinnier than I'd like him to be, but I'm pretty sure he is fully grown now. But as you can see, he looks much darker, but I can even tell from here from the viewfinder thing on my camera that that white really, really, really just pops on him. It really stands out. So I'm hoping that when Mochi is old enough that I can breed these two and get some really nice contrasting whites with some reduced black tipping, because I feel like if I could get some really high whites and some just nice prominent red without any black interfering with that red, I think it could make like a really long-lasting coral looking effect on these guys to make them look more like coral snakes. And my next project for these guys I'd like to get into is potentially that rumored pastel. That pastel, I need to see some pictures first though, now I'm thinking about it. But I just like some of those lighter color looking tricolors, so that would be nice to get some of the black tipping reduced, get some really nice looking whites like this, because even from a distance it really shows. But then also that white bordering right here on the stomach, get that to show, and then add those that lighter, almost peach color to that, and that's like my dream tricolor to try to produce. So I'm genuinely excited, because now my tricolors are back up to essentially where I was about last year, this time last year. Only difference is that the female I had going into last year's breeding season, she was a decent size. So I get to actually now watch another tricolor grow, because they grow so fast. It's like, I don't know if I've mentioned it, but Todoroki is now, I think, a year and a month old. No, that's not right. Could it? How old is that boy? Actually, he's like a year and a half now that I'm thinking about it. Like, closer to 2 years. Gosh, he's getting old. So let's see, I got him last year in July. No, last June, which meant that he had to have hatched, somewhere around maybe like early in the season, because he was too big to be just a straight up hatchling. Regardless, he was 14 months when he and Momo started breeding last year, so he's about 2. So what? That'd make him like, what, 20 months old now? Something like that. So he's 6 months over the breeding limit, or not the breeding limit, like the minimum you should shoot for breeding. But now that he's older, all I have to do is get her fattened up and bigger and watch her grow and get her to the right size, and then 2 of them should be ready to breed too. So I'm very excited for that. The tricolors are one of those passion projects of mine that I've just been so excited to work with. And since she has that reduced patterning, or not patterning, if I had a reduced patterned tricolor, that would be amazing, but I don't think I've seen any. But that reduced black tipping on the red scales, if I can mix that with Todoroki's bright red, and then I can mix the white tipping that she has on some of her black scales with Todoroki's bright, vibrant white, it could make some killer looking babies. So I'm just super excited for this project. I'm also just excited to have another tricolor, because what can I say? I love my hog noses. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just wanted to update you guys on this little girl. She's been eating pretty well. In like a week or 2, she'll be getting upgraded to this, so that's why there's no water in here. This is pretty empty right now. Do have a water bowl picked out for her already. Just gotta clean it out, fill it up. And then there will be one more hog nose, And then I'm tapping out, guys. No more buying them. Now I'm just going to focus on growing mine and then breeding them this upcoming season. Which, just for a recap, for any of you that are like just not hearing about my breeding and stuff, I will be breeding Mexican, or I should be. I'll say I should. Next season, I should be breeding my Tricolors, my Mexican Hognoses. Well, my Tricolors might be 2 seasons from now, because I really want to make sure that Mochi is the right size. But for sure, the Mexican Hognoses and my Western Hognoses and my Ball Pythons. And then, of course, I'm still breeding my rodents. But now that's more for fun, now that I found a really good place to get... Oh, he's just playing with his wheel. Now that I found some really good places to order rodents, that'll be a video coming up, for a decent price, I'm now going to be doing that more frequently because I can buy them in bulk for a lot cheaper than buying them, and now I don't really have to try so hard with breeding mice. Still going to breed them, but it's going to mainly be for auxiliary feeding and for any small snakes I have that need newborn pinkies. They're mainly going to serve that purpose. But all that, I genuinely do like some of my mice, so obviously they're also pets. But that's it for this video, guys. I'll see you in the next one.